Hi, and welcome to the show Podium. And we're on show 033. And this week I'd like to talk about moods and what are they really and what causes them and where do they come from? Because they seem to be responsible for an awful lot of behaviours and responses which don't really serve us. And what's really inspired this week's show is an article that Dr. Judith Sedgman, a friend and colleague of mine, sent through on social media. And so to give her due recognition for her piece that we're going to talk about, I would like to say that you can find more about Judy's work on www.3-principles.com, and her website is called 3 Principles Living. So thank you in advance, Judy, for all of your continued work. I know you've put in years and years pointing people towards their innate mental health and resilience. So let's take a little bit of time and just look at, what are bad moods? And another way of saying it, and certainly in this work, is kind of a state of mind. What is your level of psychological functioning? And we can use whatever words kind of mean something to us in terms of the way it is we show up to a particular situation. So let's just dive straight in and have a look at what state of mind is. Like, how is it that we show up? And I love Judy's chart, and she's got sort of 6 emojis, and they go from really smiley faces to really sad and tormented. And I just wanted to take you through sort of feeling states and behaviours that Judy is suggesting that each of those states of mind reflect. So when we're on our game, when we're really feeling amazing and psychologically free, there is a real presence about that, and we feel really at peace. And the sorts of feelings that come up for us when we're in that state of mind is that we feel very creative and connected to life and really grateful. And we're kind of very trusting, aren't we? And we're very adaptive and joyful. And it's a really lovely, non-proving state of mind. It's very connected to our true state, our original state, our essence, if you like. And the behaviours, therefore, that you tend to see from that state of mind is people being open and loving and solving problems that others are really struggling to solve. And you tend to do it really easily. And when there's somebody who people just go to without any difficulty at all, if there's something that needs doing or fixing, or it's kind of you become that go-to person because things are very easy with you and life is very joyous. So that's kind of, if you like, the top end here in terms of Judy's chart. And I just want to use this because I know she won't mind at all, because we're really helping, aren't we, to identify our mood states and what is the impact of those mood states and what are they really about. And if you had a deeper understanding of what's going on and what's really causing those mood states, then those behaviours, those responses, those actions that are coming from your feeling state would change. And they would change in a really positive way all by themselves, and not by you having to get in there and start manipulating and controlling the way you think. That's going to give you a different feeling, and then surely that's going to change the way you behave. No. You don't have to go in and apply any sort of logical, rational technique to change your thinking. Here, we're just looking to point you towards understanding what is the real cause of those bad moods, that state of mind plummet, that shift, and for you to profoundly and deeply understand it. And when that happens, it changes all by itself. the psychological immune system, as we call it sometimes in this work, kicks in. There's nothing to do. As soon as you see it for what it is, it changes. So let me carry on. There's 6 stages. The next one is calm and at ease. And the feelings there are compassionate and patient, warm and responsive. And the behaviours, somewhat sensitive to others' feelings and needs. You listen well. You offer help to those who are struggling. And you're a real team player who really loves your work. And then the next one is sort of the emoji where you've just got one line as the lips of the smile. Doesn't have any curves going up at all, and it's just functioning okay, and then stressed. And the feelings that we have from that sort of state of mind is efficient and constructive, but we get tired. And we're always having to work hard at it. We persevere. We get determined. And from that state of mind, you get into that sort of, you do what is necessary, but you don't really enjoy it. And you can feel really overwhelmed and nervous, and you start to feel under pressure. And when you're greeted, you're being polite, but you're not really wanting to be. And so you do it sort of begrudgingly because your mind is racing away and it's never really present at all to the moment. And then it gets worse. We then start to have the emoji where the smile literally is turned down. And with that also, the colour of the face starts to get a little bit more red. And so in this state of mind, we're anxious and irritable. So already we're getting further and further away from our natural state. And here, Judy talks about being distracted and agitated and worried and reactive. And you take things personally and you're easily offended. But let's carry on. The next one is troubled and insecure. And now also the eyebrows are starting to get really close and the smile is very, very glum. And the feelings here now, you're starting to really get annoyed and you're totally self-absorbed. You take yourself away, you alienate yourself, you get resentful for people, and you get very defensive. And those feelings bring up these behaviors which are really unhelpful to human beings. And the word for me that's coming up here is blame. And we're really quick to point out others' mistakes. And we're not collegial and we complain all the time. And, there's lies even. We're really trying to protect ourselves and we're not really saying the truth. And we're easily provoked. We're defending our position like crazy in this really troubled, insecure state of mind. And then it gets worse. And this time we have tears and a really sad face and really red and really tormented and fearful. And here you might relate to it if you've ever been in this state, is that you're emotionally volatile and you're very tearful and you're very destructive to yourself and to others. And you become very suspicious and things feel very hopeless in this state of mind. And the sorts of behaviours that we display when we're in that is that we lash out, we absolutely blame other people for the way we feel, and we go out of our way to hide our mistakes. And we're absolutely unable to consider others, even if they're trying to help us, and even if they are helpless. So what is the cause of our states of mind? How come that human beings go in and out of functioning states. And what is that all about? And what I'd invite you to look at with all of my work is that the feelings are not coming from the thing that you think they're coming from. So very often we are living in a misunderstanding that things on the outside of us cause us to feel in a particular way, or something somebody says has the power to make us feel in a particular way. But what if that isn't true? What if there is correlation, but there is no causation? And when I say that, I mean that we have the power inside of us to think absolutely anything at any one time. And so, just as an example, we could say that the weather has the capacity to make people feel something, i.e., if it's cloudy, if it's rainy, if it's really bad weather, then we are going to feel bad about it. But when we look closely, that's not true. It's not made of truth, because the weather on the outside of us cannot make us feel anything. Our feelings come from thought in the moment. But when we look at the weather, if it was true that it had the capacity and the power to make us feel something, then every time, say, it rained, people would feel, oh, it's raining, and they feel yuck, they would feel disappointed and down. And we know that's not true, because people will have an enormous range of feelings and experiences about rainy weather. And say you're on a farmer, for instance, you would be very happy to see the rains after a really dry spell. So it's not true that something outside of us can make us feel something. It just looks like that. And for me, I see that when we clear up this misunderstanding, certainly I've seen that, yes, I have mood states. It seems I do go in and out of this ebb and flow of thoughts. It's not as intense as it used to be. And if I had a low moment now, it's not for as long. And the difference is that I know that it's not coming from out there. It's not coming from the thing I think it's coming from. Like, my children do not have the capacity to make me feel irritated. The results of the game does not have the power to make me feel disappointed. The selection decision does not have the capacity to make an athlete feel frustrated, or even the other end, elated. Because in that example, we can see, can't we, that a deselection decision out of a team, some players would feel devastated and other players would take it on the chin. Actually, no problem, I'll, just next time, no worries. There's an enormous range of experiences to be had. Absolutely everything is up for grabs, always. Because it doesn't come from the selection. And the other thing to have a look at is, if it did come from the selection, then your experience wouldn't change. It would be constant. And here's the thing, it's not. It does change. And we can see the old saying, time heals everything. Well, what if it doesn't have anything to do with time, really? That actually in a nanosecond, in a split second, you can get a new thought and feel something entirely different about the very same thing. And just by seeing how experience works, has an enormous impact, a transformative impact on people's mood states. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've certainly enjoyed going through that lovely state of mind chart, Less Stress, More Joy from Dr. Judith Sedgman. And as I've said before at the beginning, if you want to find more about her work to give her due recognition for her lovely chart, you can find that on www.3-principles.com. So I'd like to leave you with a little bit of a question just to get us even more curious. And that is, what is the level of psychological functioning of your team? How stressed do they show up each and every day for work? And what is the impact and what is the effect on your productivity? And what is the impact on their health as human beings? So if you would like to talk about this further, then just drop me a line on denise.holland@class-performance.com, or you can look on my website on www.class-performance.com. And that just leaves me to say thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to being with you and sharing with you again soon. Bye-bye.